Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi zidni ilma. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Dr. Sadia Rafi and under the supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal, today my topic of presentation is Introduction to Immunization and EPI Pakistan. Learning objectives include introduction, active and passive immunization, types of vaccines, EPI in Pakistan, current statistics, recent updates, and multiple choice questions at the end. Learning outcome. At the end of this presentation, participants will be able to describe the basic concepts of immunization and immunization program in Pakistan. Starting with the basic difference between vaccination and immunization. Vaccines are used to artificially activate the immune system to protect against disease. Some vaccines contain a very small dose of killing small parts of bacteria. Some contain small doses to reduce the strength of bacteria, and other vaccines contain doses of modified toxins. This process gives priority to the immune system with an immunogen. Stimulating this immune response is known as immunization. So, immunization is a process after vaccination to make someone immune to fight disease. Most people believe that taking a shot of vaccine will make them immunized to kill microorganisms or treat infectious disease. This belief is wrong. Everyone's immune system reacts differently. So when a new pathogen or disease enters our body, it introduces a new antigen. For every new antigen, our body needs to build a specific antibody that can grab onto the antigen and defeat the pathogen. So you can see existing pathogen, existing antibody. And if a new pathogen comes, there is no antibody. So a vaccine is a tiny, weakened, non-dangerous fragment of the organism and includes part of the antigen. It's enough that our body can learn to build the specific antibody. Then if the body encounters the real antigen later as a part of the real organism, it already knows how to defeat it. Active immunization. Active immunization is a process of stimulating the body to produce antibody and other immune responses through administration of a vaccine or a toxoid. So it is natural or artificial, natural by infection and artificial by vaccination. Passive immunization is provision of temporary immunity by administration of preformed antibodies derived from humans or animals. So it could be natural from maternal antibodies or like artificial from monoclonal antibodies. Process of immunity after vaccination. Primary response. When an antigen is administered for the first time to the animal or human who has never been exposed to it, there is a latent period of induction of 3 to 10 days before antibodies appear in the blood. The antibody that is elicited first is entirely of the IgM type. The IgM antibody titer rises steadily during the next 2 to 3 days or more, reaches a peak level and then declines almost as fast as it develops. So it is a vaccination, it is a primary response, which comes after 3 to 10 days. Factors affecting primary response are different, like intrinsic host factors, which includes the ASI genetics, comorbidities, the perinatal host factor in case of pregnant ladies, gestational age, birth weight, breastfeeding, etc. Then the extrinsic factors, which includes infections, parasite, antibiotics, etc. Then the behavioral factor, which includes smoking, alcohol consumption, exercise, physiological stresses, and sleep. Nutritional factors, which include the body mass index and nutritional status, and the environmental factors, rural, urban, geographical location, family size, etc. Vaccine type, its type, product, strain, adjuvants, and dose matters, and the administration factors, schedule, site, routes, etc. So after the primary response, there's a secondary response. If the antigen stimulus was sufficient, IgG antibody appears in a few days. IgG reaches a peak into 7 to 10 days and then gradually falls over a period of weeks or months. As you can see in this picture, initially it was IgM in the primary response, and then it is IgG, which levels were low initially, and then it rises in the secondary response. It was the first exposure and the second exposure. IgG is like this. Difference in primary and secondary booster response. Primary, it has shorter latent period. Secondary response production of antibodies more rapid. Antibodies are more abundant. Antibody response maintained at higher levels for a longer period. The antibody elicit tend to have a greater ability or a capacity to bind to the antigen. So the antibody produced in the reaction in the result of primary vaccination, the booster dose, you can see that the level of IgG is quite high in the secondary response. Immune response after COVID-19 doses over time. If we see after the first shot of COVID vaccine, there is rise protection, but it was in low threshold. Then after a second dose, there was stronger response, but antibody decreased below threshold over time. Talking about the types of vaccines, there are live vaccines, inactivated or killed vaccines, and the subunit vaccines, which includes a toxoid, protein vaccine, a recombinant vaccine, polysaccharide vaccine, and a conjugated vaccines. And others are the combination. Inactivated vaccines are first generation, live attenuated vaccines are first generation. In second generation, we have subunit vaccines and the live particle vaccines. And whereas in third generation, we have vector vaccines and the RNA and DNA vaccines. So 2 in first, 2 in second, and 2 in third vaccine types. Talking about the live vaccines, antigen in vaccine is live but attenuated. Since antigens are live, they multiply in body after administration, so stimulus is more, generally given in a single dose. For example, BCG, OPV, MMR, yellow fever. Killed vaccines, organisms are inactivated or killed by heat or chemical. They are given by multiple doses. Immunity lasts shorter than live vaccines. For example, anti-rabies vaccine, influenza, killed vaccine. So in live cells, they are then inactivated. Types of subunit vaccine, which includes a toxoid. Toxoids are modified toxins. Toxoids are detoxicated. They are required in multiple doses, like tetanus toxoid or diphtheria toxoid. Then the protein vaccines are purified from in vitro culture. For example, hepatitis B vaccine. Then the recombinant protein vaccine include hepatitis B vaccine, HPV vaccine. Polysaccharide-based vaccines include the meningococcal vaccine. In the conjugate vaccine, UCC, SARS-CoV virus, it was a viral receptor binding domain of spike proteins were present. Then this SARS-CoV-2 gene was taken. It was gene inserted in the bacteria, yeast, or animal cell. Then SARS-CoV protein purified and combined with strong antigens such as tetanus toxoid. And then vaccine was prepared and then it was being given and the immune response was there. Combination vaccines, they are so called because the preparation contain more than one antigen. They are also called mixed vaccine like EZ5 pentavalent, DPT, DT, MMR. Initial challenges faced with COVID-19 vaccines were basically globally, first availability and affordability of the vaccines. Then at the national level, there was political commitment, regulation, supply chain, equity, data, human resource, and coordinations. These were the challenges at the national level, and at the individual level, there was vaccine hesitancy. Now talking about the extended program of immunization, on immunization. The expanded program of immunization was established in 1976 to ensure that infants and children and mothers have access to routinely recommend infant childhood vaccines. 6 vaccine preventable diseases were initially included in the EPI, which were tuberculosis, poliomyelitis, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, and measles. Purpose of EPI. Building on the momentum of the smallpox eradication effort, the EPI was launched in 1974 to ensure that all children in all countries benefited from life-saving vaccines. EPI in Pakistan. Established in 1978, EPI currently aims to vaccinate approximately 6 million children aged 0 to 11 months against 9 targeted diseases, which included childhood tuberculosis, poliomyelitis, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, Haemophilus, influenza type B, pneumonia, and measles. The National Immunization Program has contributed to significantly decreasing childhood morbidity and mortality due to vaccine-preventable diseases. A child needs only 6 visits during his or her life to complete the vaccination against 12 dreadful diseases. The objectives of EPI are to affirm the commitment of the government of Pakistan to provide safe, effective, and cost-effective vaccination against vaccine-preventable diseases, set national standards and guidelines for immunization aligned with the global goals and evidence-based, and encourage the generation of local evidence for vaccination against vaccine-preventable diseases. It also aims to protect mothers and newborns against tetanus. Immunization children with these vaccinations may avert up to 17% of childhood mortality in Pakistan and thus help contribute towards achieving SDG 3 on reducing child morbidity and mortality. Several milestones have achieved where different vaccines were added in EPI scheduler against VPDs. If we see the milestones, it was initially started EPI in 1978, then in 1976, pilot project with 6 basic antigen, then in 81, active intensified, and in 1994, national polio immunization days was started, and then 2002, hepatitis B vaccine was introduced. In 2019, pentavalent vaccine was introduced. In 2012, pneumococcal vaccine, 1215, inactivated polio vaccine, and 2017, rotavirus vaccine were introduced. Routine immunization schedule is 6 times at birth age. At the birth, vaccines are polio, OPV, hepatitis B is given. In the second, which is at 6 weeks, OPV1, pneumococcal 1, rota and penta 1 is given. Third visit, 10th week, OPV2, pneumococcal 2, rota 2 and pentavalent 2. Fourth visit, which is at 14 weeks, OPV3, pneumococcal 3, IP1 and pentavalent 3. At the fifth visit, which is at the 9th month, MR1, typhoid and IPV2 are given, and the sixth visit, which is at 15th month, MR2 is given. If we see the vaccination coverage by regions, you can see the lighter color, Balochistan, the coverage is 29 to 42%, then 43 to 45%, 55 to 67%, 68 to 80%, which is in Punjab, and gray area shows there is no data available. So the percentage of fully immunized children aged 12 to 23 months has increased markedly over 5 years span from 54% in 2012-13 to 66% in 2017-18. These are the childhood vaccination. If you see BCG, polio, and DPT, and the trends in childhood vaccination. Percentage of children aged 12 to 13 months who received all basic vaccine at any time before this survey. So you can see this is no vaccination and all basic vaccine. As the time from the start of the EPI, the trends have been changed. There's incline in the vaccination rather than decline. So in 2017-18 period reveals that overall 66% of children aged 12 to 23 months have had all basic vaccines. Childhood vaccination should be specific to the age of the child. Only 51% of children had all age appropriate vaccines. Only 4% did not have any type of vaccine at any time before the survey. Strengthening the EPI services, WHO supported the development of comprehensive multi-year plan for federal and provisional EPI programs, and based on it, the PC1 and annual plan of actions are developed. Capacity building is ongoing from mid-level managers to field staff, including vaccinators and lady health workers. Effective vaccine management is also supported by the partners. Steps are being taken to improve the data quality by periodic data quality assessment and program review. EPI schedule in Pakistan is at birth 6, 10, 14, 9, and 12 months basic vaccination, then at 15 months BCV, and 18 months OPV and hepatitis A. More than 2 years, typhoid is again 4 to 5 years OPV, chickenpox, and TPT, and at 10 years, it tests toxide. It is also published in Urdu, where it is mentioned बच्चों को 15 माह की उम्र तक 6 दफा वैक्सीन देने से आप 12 जानलेवा बीमारियों से महफूज रह सकते हैं. So all the schedule is printed in Urdu as well. Again, 6 दफा 12 बीमारियां, यानी it means that 6 visits and 12 diseases. And they have also told that फांसी टेके क्यों जरूरी है, because the child with no vaccination has a lot of diseases and the child who is vaccinated is healthy. And the सेहतमंद बच्चे सेहतमंद माशरा. And again, after the COVID pandemic, it is now coronavirus vaccine is also available in children. It is being endorsed by the government to have your children get vaccinated against COVID-19. Services implemented under EPI. Implementation of expanded program of immunization encompasses procedures such as vaccination in line with the disease control program objectives, disease surveillance, and procurements of vaccine and supplies necessary for vaccine administration. The EPI primarily covers the mothers, infants, and children for immunization. It shall be including vaccines for prevention of vaccine-preventable diseases among the adolescents and older age groups. Progress of EPI in Pakistan till now. With Gavi's support, EPI Pakistan added important vaccines to its childhood immunization schedule, introduced new technology, and expanded its cold chain capacity and other infrastructure significantly. The EPI also conducts supplementary immunization activities to safeguard children and pregnant women from vaccine preventable diseases. Program aims to immunize 3.39 million target children of 0 to 23 months annually against 12 vaccines preventable diseases. Challenges of EPI includes lack of clarity of whether to provide vaccination through fixed centers or mobile teams, scarcity of human resource at various levels, lack of accurate population data, on-ground logistic issues, and lack of separate budget. Impact of EPI in Pakistan. EPI performances has a significant impact on global and regional immunization indicators, such as poliomyelitis eradication, maternal and neonatal tetanus, and measles elimination. EPI and PEI. This is done to promote synergy between the expanded program on immunization and the polio eradication initiative. Measles Rubella Catch-up Campaign. The nationwide measles rubella campaign is planned to be conducted in November. It started basically in 2021. The target was 9 months to 15 years of the age against vaccine immunization against measles and rubella through expanded program on immunization across Pakistan. And the objective was to till 9 months to 15 years to protect children against measles and rubella. Immunization coverage across Pakistan. According to recent larger surveys on routine immunization, third-party verification immunization survey, 76.1% of children under the age of 2 years have received the full course of vaccination under expanded program of immunization. Of the remaining children, only 1 in every 6 or 17.7% have been vaccinated partially, while 5.9% of them never received vaccine. According to survey, 89.9% vaccinated children in Punjab, 88.8% in Azad Jammu Kashmir, 68% in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 61.1% in Sindh, and 37% in Balochistan. This survey showed 10% gain in immunization coverage all over the country over the period of 2 years. So the achievements of EPI, the shifting of federal provisional program budget from development to recurrent sites, centralization procurements, 10% increase immunization coverage, and so on. It includes the establishment of COVID-19 monitoring cell development, introduction of conjugate typhoid vaccine was there, health facilities, Sehat Hafuz helpline, and internalizing the EPI and PS synergy, and the distribution of 1 to 5 motorbikers for vaccination in Islamabad, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Azad Jammu Kashmir. Talking about Gavi. Gavi is a public-private partnership that engages in a variety of initiatives related to immunization, from shaping global vaccine markets to building capacity in civil society organizations for vaccination delivery. One of the Gavi's major functions involving providing financial support to low and middle income countries to increase childhood immunization. Gavi eligible countries with a per capita GNI of US dollars 1580 or below can access funding for routine and new vaccine. One notable feature of Gavi's model is that rather than simply making grants for purchasing vaccines, Gavi typically procures vaccines on behalf of recipient countries. In Pakistan, Gavi alliances funding to fill the existing gaps in health sector, including immunization, maternal and child health care, and health system strengthening. Pakistan is one of the 10 pilot countries successfully implementing this support through a consortium of 15 CSOs working in selected districts of Punjab, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, AJK, and Gilgit-Baltistan. Since the September 2000, CSOs are implementing their respective assignments and reporting to Gavi CSO Support Unit, Pakistan. Recent updates. Immunizations. According to UNICEF, vaccines are the world's safest method to protect children from life-threatening diseases. According to WHO immunization program, this is the diseases, and these are the schedule by WHO in Pakistan. One of the article was rising pediatric morbidity and mortality in the developing world. In this, the conclusion was high rate of morbidity and mortality in Pakistan as compared to the rest of the developing world make it extremely important to find out the causes and eliminating the contributing factors. Our overpoint highlight the main participating element causing the increase in morbidity and mortality. The most important include low vaccination coverage in the low socioeconomic class in the urban area of Karachi, as well as cyclic seasoning pattern shown of some diseases. So there was low coverage of socioeconomic vaccination. And the second article was Pakistan ranks third globally with the most unvaccinated children. Is the impact of parental perception or attitude on immunization an essential contributing factor to an unsuccessful vaccination coverage? So the strong associations were found between parental knowledge of immunization, vaccines, and willingness to get their children immunized. Associations were greater and significant in parents with a high level of education compared to lower. However, lack of knowledge about certain essential vaccines like pentavalent, pneumococcal, and IPV was an important aspect to consider. In one article, critical review of data analytical technique used in the EPI. The results showed it has been revealed from our review that the existing approaches use data analytical techniques without considering the complete complexity of EPI, which includes the maintenance of cold chain systems, proper distribution of vaccines, and quality of data captured at various healthcare facilities. Moreover, in developing countries, there is no centralized data repository where all data related to immunization is being gathered to perform analytics at various levels of granularities. Conclusion, we believe that the existing non-centralized immunization data with the right set of machines, learning and artificial intelligence-based techniques will not only improve the vaccination coverage, but will also help in predicting the future trends and patterns of its coverage in different geographical locations. Now coming towards MCQs. Antigen is an important constituent of the vaccine. To avoid contamination and increase the immune response, a component such as adjuvant or stabilizer is added during the manufacturing process of a vaccine. Name the least commonly used adjuvant used in vaccine development. Formaldehyde, aluminum sulfate, potassium aluminum sulfate, or aluminum hydroxide.
C.
No, the correct answer is formaldehyde. It is the least used adjuvant in vaccines. Question number 2. Immunization is an important and effective way to protect humans from different types of infectious diseases. The two main types of immunizations are active and passive immunization. All of the following statements are correct about the active and passive immunization, except both can occur naturally as well as artificially. Active immunization is the inoculation of live, attenuated, and dead pathogens. Both types of immunization may provide long-term protection to the immune system. Administration of preformed antibodies in the form of passive immunization.
C.
Yes,
Charlie.
C, yes, because by the time the level decreases. Which of the following statements is incorrect about the vaccine development process? A vaccine consists of live attenuated kill germ vaccines. Aluminum can be used as an adjuvant in a vaccine. Animal trials are not necessary for vaccine before going to human trial. And effective and safe vaccine production can take up to 10 to 15 years.
C.
Yes, C is the correct answer. WHO CDC recommends vaccination of children under 6 years of age to protect themselves from several infectious diseases. Which of the following vaccine does not come under the list of mandatory or recommended vaccine that should be administered during childhood? Diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, polio, MMR, hepatitis A and B, and rabies.
E.
Yes,
E.
E is the correct answer. Rabies is not included. Which of the following type of vaccine authorized by FDA and WHO are proven to be effective and safe against COVID-19? Live attenuated mRNA conjugate or toxide vaccine?
B. mRNA.
Beta.
Yes, the easy one, messenger RNA vaccine. Every year, many door-to-door campaigns as well as the regular EPI schedule administer hundreds of polio vaccination doses to children under 5. Recently, IPV has been included to EPI schedule so polio can be eradicated by which of the following? Attention to sewage control and hygiene, killed polio vaccine, live polio vaccine, combination of killed and live vaccine.
B.
Delta. Beta.
No, delta is the correct answer because of the combination of both live and killed OPV and IPV. Which of the following statements is incorrect about the live attenuated vaccine? It is prepared using whole weekend live bacteria or virus. It can generate a long-term immune response with the administration of a single dose. Measles, mumps, rubella, and oral polio vaccine are live attenuated vaccines, and it is stable on normal room temperature.
D.
Yes,
Delta.
C.
yes, correct, absolutely right. Hepatitis B is a part of group of hepatitis viruses that attacks the liver. It is spread through blood and bodily fluids. Which of the following should receive pre-exposure hepatitis B vaccine? Short-term foster carriers, sewage workers, people with chronic liver disease, people with chronic renal disease.
C.
Charlie.
No, the correct answer is sewage
B.
workers. Yes, sewage workers should have because it spreads through blood and bodily fluids. Which of the following statement is false regarding the important characteristics of safe and effective vaccine? It must be safe and easy to use with low side effects in humans. It must provide immunity at least 15% of the population. It must be available at a low cost. It must provide long-lasting immunity. Which one is false?
B.
Yes, correct is B. Bacterial meningitis is serious. It strikes babies more often than any other age group. Bacterial meningitis is usually more severe and may lead to long-term complications or death. Which vaccine will help prevent one previously common type of meningitis? Tetanus, Hib, HIV, varicella.
B.
Beta.
Yes, the correct answer is B. This is the key. References, YouTube link, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sathya. Very informative and good presentation on a very basic topic, that is expanded program of immunization and vaccination as a whole. So thank you very much for updating us about the recent advances. So I would like Dr. Amber to please comment on this presentation.